These two adoring angels came to us from a church museum in Montana. In addition to the predictable paint chips, peels, and scuffs on both statues, the one with praying hands in blue was also missing a large wing. We sealed the gaping hole first with plaster cloth and new plaster for a flat, workable surface. Using this French-made silicone molding paste, you blend the two parts together, and then it turns into almost like a plasticine. And in our case here, I've created quite a large rubber mold of this angel's right wing. I'm going to sculpt a new one from it, and that'll be ready to attach to the other angel, which is actually missing a wing. When cured about 15 minutes later, the blue silicone comes off pretty easily. It's time to custom mix new plaster for a strong and permanent replacement wing. When it's as thick as yogurt, we pour it into the mold and with a metal poker, reduce the risk of air bubbles to reduce the work for later on. By allowing the rubber mold of the wing to hang naturally, nothing pressing in or squeezing it, it's going to sit in its natural form, very much the same as it was when it was still attached to the angel. So now I've started to fill the upper part, hanging upside down, of course it's the bottom. So this lower section is now going to be filled with plaster. Once it hardens, I'll be able to continue building up slowly all the way up until I have a full wing. And when I take it out of the mold, it should be very close to the original shape, and it should fit nicely onto the second statue. The two connecting surfaces have to be made fairly flat for the permanent attachment. And then from the roughed-in new wing, the sanding begins. Next, with the rotating tool, carving in feathers, creases, and texture lines to match the original statue. And the slab of hardened plaster starts to take the shape of the angel's wing. Metal pins are secured to stabilize the wing from the inside and reduce the risk of breakage from movement side to side. Two-part hardening epoxy is squeezed into the gaps for strength the full length of the wing wherever there's room. And once that's cured, more plaster is mixed to smooth out and dramatically strengthen the remaining joints, and it's injected with a simple syringe and plastic tube. This wet plaster dries within seconds when it touches the dry plaster, so a wet, gloved hand quickly makes the bond on both the outside and inside of the new wing. The final stages before painting include the tedious but important task of sanding by hand and, where necessary, by machine. Working our way to a higher and higher grit number, we aim to make the plaster as smooth as possible while preserving the character of a 100-year-old statue. And next, we repair the broken corners or any other large and visible issues, filling gaps with new plaster, and a final run at smoothing out any of the rough spots. Sometimes statues will have a lot of paint peels. You can start by feeling to see if that's really noticeable. If the ridge is noticeable, you might try using an X-Acto blade or a sharp cutting knife to see if you can just slip under the edge and peel more of it off. You can also rely on an air compressor to see if you can blow underneath and peel some of it off. But eventually it will stop coming off, and what you'll end up doing is finding edges like this where it's pretty smooth. You want to just get rid of that edge with a gentle sanding motion. In this case, I'm using a 150 grit, but on many statues, you probably can go higher than that, meaning a 320 or a 400 grit, to just get a really smooth surface here without taking off much of the plaster.
When the statues are ready for painting, it's worth the investment to start with a premium primer on the exposed raw plaster. Then it's on to applying base coats of color and layering on highlights to add dimension and texture, especially on the angel's wings. The carved feather patterns make it much like the original sculpture. And when the gold trims and highlights are applied, it gives an old statue new life. Shades and contours make hair look much more realistic. I use a magnifier when I pay special attention to facial features like lips, eyes, or eyebrows. That's where people tend to look to make a connection with statues.
With many repairs and even a whole new wing, the statues are ready to return to Our Lady of Lourdes Church in Marysville, Montana, where fewer than 100 residents now keep alive the memory of a gold mining town from the 1880s. We invite your feedback or comments, and we hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.